another video. I'm still working on this painting here, and as you can see that I've got some work to do. Now I have to make some decisions with this painting. Do I want to keep the blue background or not? And that's not really a major decision. The biggest decision is do I just want to let myself off the hook at some point and say, well, that's good enough. I've got the likeness fairly good. Should I just leave it, let it go, and just sort of stop? I mean, as you're going, you have many choices you're always making, and of course, as I'm trying to improve my portrait work, I have to be my own coach, and I have to push myself to get out the small brush and get those details, because portraiture is definitely a detail-oriented paint craft. And so, you know, you can't well, yeah, sure, you could do sort of an abstract kind of you do whatever you want, but of course, if you want to be a professional portrait artist, and that's what I've always strived for, I've got to really get in there and make sure that I get in with put the microscope on there and get those details. So there's a few things that, if you just look at the photo and the painting, I think you'll see the similarity there. But I feel like the original photograph has the fullness. It has especially on the right side of the face, it has you can see that plane of the face on the right side. It just has more depth, of course, and I've got to create that a bit more on the right side cheek there. So that's kind of what I was doing here. I was putting some darker colors on that right cheek, and overall, I feel pretty good so far about the picture. The mouth and the smile is pretty bad so far as we're looking at it here, and also the shadow there on the right side of the cheek. Now, if you look at the photo, what you'll see is on the left side, you'll see an angle coming down. You can see it from the left side of the hair. It's a very angular line from the tip of that hair coming down to the chin. And if you look at mine, you actually see more of a rounded aspect to the left side. And that also throws off the mouth. So So that is an aspect of this painting that needs to be corrected. I'm also wondering if the forehead was a bit. Now, see, I don't measure. I don't measure things. Although I do have a proportional divider, which I'd like to try to use more. But this picture I'm working for is a very small picture. And so here I'm working on the left eye. But that left cheek, yeah. And I'm not the type of person that I don't take a picture and then kind of pixelate it, or I don't do anything to kind of see the tonal qualities of a photo. Like I don't put it in Photoshop, or I don't do some kind of technical stuff. I'm just looking at the photo as is, and so it's not really giving me any kind of cheat, you know what I mean? I'm just looking straight at the photo. So also, I'm not quite happy with the colors that I'm producing for the skin yet. And so I am kind of wondering if I do have the forehead a little bit too high. Now, of course, the neck is a bit Mogladini. I've had several people tell me that my paintings look like Mogladini. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Mogladini was famous for the kind of these long neck people, and it's funny. Some things just kind of carry over in your artwork, and it's funny. I guess I'm still in my own personal training for myself. I guess I'm doing it my way. I'm not measuring anything. And yet, a lot of times, oh my gosh, I think we've come to the end of the video. I'll have to put something else in there. Maybe some raccoons in the backyard or something. But a lot of times, that was in my early drawing days, making these long necks, or kind of like I would leave the neck out or something. But I think sometimes your weaknesses can kind of carry over into your work. But, if I was more of a scientist with painting, I would measure and I would do all these things. But I kind of just do it my way and let myself find my own style, I guess, in that. I'm gonna be as wild and loose as I want to be. I mean, it's interesting. My neighbor, we were having a glass of wine with all the neighbors, and I found out that the neighbor is a painter, and he was a graphic artist. And we said, well, yeah, you should come over sometime. I guess all the neighbors have seen me painting, and I have no idea what people think about my paintings, or I don't know, but apparently the neighbors across the way, they see my paintings, and wow, they're amazing and wonderful. And so the painter neighbor was going to come over one of these days, and he finally came over, and he told me that he stood there and he says, well, my stuff is more tight, and he says, and then he says, yeah, you've really got your own style, and Of course, I don't really necessarily feel that way. I don't have any, you know, ego about my work whatsoever. So it's not that you'd have an ego if you have a style, but I just don't have any, maybe that's the wrong word, but I just don't have any sense of that. And maybe that's good. But so anyway, he took me over to his house and showed me his stuff, some landscape stuff. And yeah, very, very gorgeous mountains, trees, and very beautiful. And he says, I would like to have a more loose, free style. He says, I really envy you. And because he comes from this, graphic arts design background, and everything he does is very, very close up and careful and detailed and all this kind of stuff. And I would actually like to have more of that. But it's kind of like, I wonder if it's like being trained like a classical pianist, growing up, and then you want to be an artist and you want to write your own songs, but you're kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck in this way of creating, and you maybe can't get out of it. And I would rather, I guess I would rather have, I'd just rather be more risky with everything, and I guess that's the way I sort of started out, was just, just with charcoal and not really being precious about anything that I do. I just throw it away if. My spiritual teacher, who has now passed on, he used to tell me, he said, make your life about creativity, but don't be so precious about everything that it becomes, you make it who you are. And I just thought that was so great. And it's more about the moment, and not about the trying to impress, of course, or get too caught up in it, I guess is what he was saying. But he was just saying, paint something and then give it away. Basically, don't get too proud of anything. And then I've had other people say, well, no, I disagree. You should take pride in your work and keep it and make it worth something or whatever. But I don't know. I like my attitude toward painting, I guess. I'm still striving. I'm striving just to still have more fun and enjoy it. And of course, I know a lot of people. The guy that I interviewed on my channel, Ben Lustenhauer, he was, he's a professional portrait artist every day, and he says, some days it just doesn't come together. But he loves, it's his career. He wakes up and he does it 9 to 5, and I think he went through a period where he was telling me he didn't like what was it? Some aspect of his career he didn't like. I forgot. But anyways, yeah, he does commissions. He has his technique, his protocol, the way he does it. He goes out, he has a glass of wine, he takes some photos, comes back, does a sketch, then he does the painting, and so yeah. But I don't know. I think painting for me it's more about losing yourself in the painting, and it's more about a break, a meditation. It's a peaceful thing to do. I think no matter what, you're always going to I mean, if you're always going to improve if you just keep going. I think painting is one of those things. Some people say, well, if it's not in you, or if you don't have any talent. I mean, I guess I think talent and passion are kind of born hand to hand. I think that if you have a certain, strive toward the thing, then typically there's a passion with that. And I think those two go together. So in other words, yeah, if you don't have the passion, I'm getting all psychological and analytical now. But anyways, I was just trying to say that, I'm not 9 to 5 with it, but because I've got other things that I like. I've got music that I like to do, and songwriting. And songwriting is something that I guess it just keeps coming back to me. And I used to dream about as a kid, like being a songwriter, and I didn't realize that I was going to be handed songs by the muse, M-U-S-E, the muse, but I keep getting them, and so that's something I enjoy too, recording and writing songs. And so yeah, I'm torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. And anyhow, I'm going to end this video, and thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.